Welcome to it. You are listening to another edition of the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast, and border to border on iHeartRadio today. And we are also on Spotify and all the various other places we have. And we have got a great guest with us today. Jaelen Johnston is with us. He is absolutely amazing, and he is going to be part of a gigantic show on Saturday night at Gillies in Park City. January 10th is the show, $10 at the door. This is going to be an amazing evening. And Jaelen, you're just an amazing individual. But talk to me a little bit about your background. How
Man,
did you get started doing the music thing?
to be honest, I got started in music because my back was too messed up to continue finishing concrete.
Okay. Well,
Jobs initially, man, and I spent a lot of time doing that, and I was playing only on the weekends, and that was something. I got a guitar for my sixth. I was 16 years old on Christmas. I got a guitar for my family, and I fiddled around on that thing till I got legible on it. And then I started playing shows. I was playing only on the weekends, maybe a Friday here and there, maybe a Saturday. Then it got to both. I finally quit working February 28th of 25. So that was a big jump doing music full time. But that one, I went to the chiropractor. He's like, man, I recommend you quit doing whatever it is you're doing. So I was like, I have a guitar.
I would recommend quit doing whatever you're doing.
Now, he told me straight now. He did not. There were no holdbacks on that.
That's amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. Jaelen Johnston is going to be part of a gigantic show at Gillies in Park City, January 10th, $10 at the door. And today on the program, we are going to be chatting with him a little bit about his background, his career, everything. And we are basically joined by a true force in modern country music. He's a singer, songwriter, acoustic guitar player with a voice forged in Midwestern dirt roads, barroom neon, and heart on his sleeve storytelling. Jaelen delivers songs that are equal parts grit, soul, and outlaw spirit after capturing national attention as the runner-up on NBC's The Voice season 27. He's been electrifying audiences with anthems like Ramblin' Man, Old School, and Sober Cigarette. His music is raw in all the right ways and rooted in real life, the heartbreaks, the hard times, and the hard nights, and he makes country feel alive again. Jaelen, I'm excited to dive in with all this today. I'm excited to see you on Saturday at Gillies. Your background in music says that it is forged in Midwestern tradition, backroad dust, and barroom neon, which is amazing. I don't know who came up with that, but it is fucking amazing. How did growing up in the Midwest shape your sound and your perspective as an artist?
Oh shit, man. I think growing up where I did, how I sing, how I talk, a lot of that's influenced by everything around me. I grew up with buddies that run off of poor decisions and caffeine. It's
Poor decisions and caffeine, baby.
That's pretty close to being on my next bumper sticker. We got those coming soon. No, but it's just growing up where I did, man. It's everybody around you that really plays a part in your story and your music, the way you convey yourself as an artist. And I think that Midwestern Kansas has done a hell of a job at just that.
That is amazing. That is amazing. We have got Jaelen Johnston with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. Now, what are some of the pivotal moments from your early years that made you realize music was the path you wanted to pursue?
So a funny story on that, actually. The first song I ever sang was from the movie Phantom of the Opera. And I did that
awesome.
At about 4 or 5 years old in the grocery shopping cart at our local Walmart for whoever cared to listen. It was, it's music has always been such a big part of my life. And I think, I grew up listening to all kinds of music in the house, from Alan Jackson to Biggie and Pac to Outkast. You have everything just in this massive melting pot of sound. And I got introduced to that at a very young age. And, And I think that's definitely played a huge part in the sound and the upbringing, all of that, man. It's just, the more music I consumed when I was little, the more I wanted to do it. So that transition into becoming an artist myself was honestly a really, really easy one.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You idolize these certain people, and you take certain bits from the greats that paved the way, and then you kind of find yourself in the mix along the way, and that's the coolest part about it to me.
That is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big program, and you're joining us each and every day over there on Spotify and, of course, TalkShoe and iHeartRadio. Now, you made a big impression on The Voice. You earned the runner-up on season 27. What was this experience like? How did it change your career, my friend?
Experience itself, terrifying. Very, very, very humble.
It's terrifying.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think, blind audition, I went out into a dark room and I could barely see the crowd. My family was lit up, so that made me feel better. And I'm thinking, oh, I got this shit. It's all right. I can do this all day. And then they turned the lights on, and I was like, there's a lot more people in here than
a lot more people in here than I thought there was.
But that part was scary. And as the show progressed, it was the nerves started falling off a little bit. I started, finding myself and my artistry more. I started doing different things with the songs that I kind of put myself in that place of, if this was my song and I wrote it, how would it sound? And that pushed me further into finding myself as an artist. And the after effects of that show have been nothing short of a blessing. And I definitely got to thank God for that. That was a huge, huge stepping stone in what I hope to be a lifelong career. And the connections I've made. I recently went out to Nashville and I've wrote with several people. I think one of the biggest being Billy Montana, which he wrote for Garth Brooks. He wrote for Lee Brice. He wrote for I can't remember. I'm going to get chastised for this.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember the name, but
everybody you can think of.
Oh, dude, this dude is. He is a absolute killer with a pen and paper. He is truly a lyrical magician, and I had the pleasure writing with him. And I don't think I would have been able to do that if it wouldn't be for that show. It was a, like I said, a massive stepping stone in what I want to do. So I'm very thankful for that.
Fantastic. We have got Jaelen Johnston with us today. He joins us live today here on our big program. And this Saturday night at Gillies in Park City, you're going to be able to see him live. January 10th, $10 cover at the door. The show is going to be amazing. And I got to see that venue the other day for the very first time. And holy smokes, what a building. I got to, I felt like it was a step up from some of the other places that we've been. So it is amazing. So let's talk a little bit about your music and your songwriting, my friend. Your catalog from Ramblin' Man to Welcome to the Shit Show, it's just amazing. That was my 2025.
There you go.
It spans heartache, grit, storytelling. Where do you start when writing a song? Is it the story? Is it the melody? Is it something else? Give us some insight on this, my friend.
Oof. I wish I could give you a cheat code recipe on how to write a song, but the truth is I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I get some kind of melodic thing in my head, and then I'll sit down and I tend to hyperfixate on that. So I'm going off, and then all of a sudden I'm throwing sentences onto the melody and all that. So then I grab my guitar, I sit down there for about 6 hours, and then figure out how this is going to sound. And I'll kind of, I don't know, man. It definitely starts with melody, but I'll go through maybe 14 different versions of a song before I have it finalized. It's definitely a process. It's a long process, but it's a process.
That's awesome. This Saturday, January 10th at Park City, Kansas at Gillies. It is going to be our guest today, Jaelen Johnston. He is going to be live as live can get. And so continuing on here with the music and the storytelling and the songwriting and everything that you do. Walk us through your creative process for a track like Sober Cigarette or Bad Guy. What real life moments sparked any of this?
I'll tell you what, man. I've had, it's funny because I'll have old people tell me, or I say old people, older people tell me that I act like a 70-year-old shoved in a 22-year-old body. I've definitely lived a lot of life in these 22 years, and it's everything I write about, everything I talk about stems from a true story at some point, So for a song like Bad Guy, man, it was the relationship I was in at that point. Oh my God, dude. I think it was very easy to write a song like that from that. And it's mainly the message of, you're with somebody and nothing can work. You know what I mean? You're always the root of the issue, and it's about a narcissistic relationship essentially.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure everybody's had one of those, and I feel like that song really pulls into that. Shit, it's not my fault. That problem's you. But I had I say a really good time. It was kind of a bad point, but I wrote that song with some really good friends of mine. Sat down after about case and a half. We came up with that song, and that was a really fun ride, honestly. Me being with my boys, sitting down, talking shit like they always do, and coming up with a song like that, man. It was fun. Sober Cigarette, on the other hand, that's more, I don't know, that's really just kind of a party song, but at the same time, you're going back to what you know what I mean? You have that one person that if they called, you definitely answer the phone, even though it's not a good idea. And I feel like that.
I've run into that on many occasions, baby. I've run into that a lot.
And when you're drunk, and I mean, I have a lot of buddies that are the same way as me. If we're drunk, a cigarette sounds amazing. But if you were to smoke that same cigarette sober, your mouth tastes like shit. It's a bad day. You got to brush your teeth 12 times. It's just really great.
Yep. That is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He's going to be part of a big show. $10 at the door on Saturday, January 10th at Gillies in Park City. Jaelen Johnston is with us. He, of course, made waves by being on The Voice season 27. He was the runner-up on that big program, and he joins us today here on the old StreamYard, streaming on the StreamYard today with Jaelen. So, when doing research for this interview, I discovered, which is amazing to me because you're going to have quite the week. You're going to be January 10th at Gillies, and then you're getting an award?
I guess so, man.
You're getting, according to this, you're getting the 2026 Mayor's Award of Excellence.
Yeah.
You're going to be getting this January 13th at a city council meeting, and of all places, Derby, Kansas.
Yeah, man.
The only other person that I know to come out of Derby that's famous is Dave the Caveman Rickles.
Right.
That's it. And let me tell you, that motherfucker's not getting an award for excellence from the mayor. But talk to us about this. This is quite as they used to say, quite the humdinger.
Yeah, no, it's a humdinger for me, man. It's a very humbling experience. I think to be able to represent Derby in the way that I did, and to be able to truly, and a lot of people say stuff for interviews and TV, and it's not always exactly true.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, man, it is such a blessing to be able to truly say that the whole town, the whole state, really fully rallied behind me when I was on that show, and the level of support I've never seen anything like that. And to have that love, especially coming from my hometown, and I go to the store now and I'll see about 5-6 people in my t-shirts, 12 people in my hats, you know what I mean? And
that's awesome.
That kind of love is something you can't replicate, and I think that's definitely, if anybody that's not from the Midwest wants to know what it's like living in the Midwest, I mean, we're not a super small town by any means, but we definitely have that small town love, and I don't think you're hard pressed to find that in a bigger city.
Well, it is quite the deal. I think that's pretty damn amazing. Yeah, you're making some waves, baby. I think that's awesome.
Thank
Uh, we have got Jaelen Johnston with us today. He's going to be part of the big show at Gillies on January 10th in Park City. So who are some of the artists or songwriters that have influenced your sound the most? Uh, Looking into your background, you've mentioned in other interviews, Waylon, Chris Ledoux. Talk to us a little bit about some of these influences.
I think the biggest truly, and that came from a place of full on shock, and I remember the first time I heard Chris Stapleton. I can't remember exactly where I was at, but I remember how it felt. The first song I ever heard was "Sometimes I Cry," and hearing that song, dude, it was just the screams and the wails and the runs he did. I was like, shit, I want to do that, So I spent a lot of hot water and several hours in the shower trying to scream like that. And I think, I damaged my voice enough to the point where I can now, and not exactly like Stapleton by any means, but it definitely has its properties. The grit, I think, was heavily influenced by him. The storytelling that was influenced, like George Strait, and if you need a newer example, Zach Bryan for sure. New guy just came out, Joshua Sloan. He has insane storytelling, and I really think that storytelling is what makes a country song. That's what separates it from blues or rock or anything, is the story behind it. And I think there's so many. I could go on for hours about the artists that influenced me in certain properties, but I think a big one, sound wise, Chris Stapleton. Storytelling, I'd have to go with George Strait on that.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He's going to be part of a gigantic show out at Gillies in Park City this weekend, January 10th, $10 at the door. It is going to be a heck of a good time. And so let's talk a little bit about the live performance and the audience and everything that goes into that aspect. What's your approach to performing on stage? How do you balance some of the raw energy with the vulnerability, my man?
Oof. I think for me personally, the biggest thing that makes a performance fun for me and that kind of puts me in my zone is crowd reaction. I've been doing this 6 going on 7 years now, and at this point, I've played for all types of crowds. I've played for completely silent crowds. I've played for the liveliest crowds you ever seen, and that, I think, a lively crowd's really what does it for me. It pulls me into this place that I can only get if I'm getting good crowd reaction, and it is such. I mean, it's a full on electrifying feeling. I can't describe it if I tried, but if I had to, it'd feel like I'm getting hit by a 240 constantly for an hour and a half, and it's amazing, dude. It's such a rush. And I don't know, man. It's just it's something that I really think makes live performances less scary.
That's amazing. We have got a great guest with us today, the incredible Jaelen Johnston. He's going to be part of a big show at Gillies in Park City this weekend. $10 at the door gets you in for this incredible performance, and you've gone from intimate bar rooms to bigger stages. Any memorable crowd moments that have stuck with you over the years, my friend?
Absolutely. I definitely have 2 or 3. The first one would be, I'm just starting out. I played at this bar in Wichita, Kansas called the Rusty Nail, and at the time,
I have heard about this fucking place, and I drove past it for the very first time the other day, and I'm like, oh, that's the Rusty Nail.
Have you ever been inside?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that place. I love that place.
It's quite the deal.
Man, it's I started playing there long time ago. Truthfully, I had no business in a bar. It's not like I could drink, but I was definitely playing there. And I started with open mics, and they finally gave me a shot at a brunch gig. And I mean, not including my family or the servers, there's maybe 6 people in there, and I was terrified. So I did that first one. I got over that fear a little bit, and the more I played there, I ended up running into these these bikers. They did a biker crawl. And I know bikers get a bad rep, but I'm telling you, man, they were the nicest people you will ever meet. And they invited me out to Junction City, Kansas.
Junction City, Kansas. Holy smokes. You know, I have always said Junction City is like a whole nother country.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with you, man. I can't disagree at all.
I nearly got arrested in that town for interviewing Eddie Money. So,
well, no,
that's a completely different deal. So share me your Junction City experience.
It was.
I'm sure this is going to be fun.
There was definitely a lot of places to get wild, man. But it was, I played at the VMC for Veterans Motorcycle Club, and they were nothing short of a pleasure. And I think one of the biggest things that sticks out with me in my career of memorable live crowd moments was I played Into the Mystic by Van Morrison, and I put my own spin on it. I did this country blues kind of deal with it. And by the time I was done, every one of these bikers, that gets the rep of being these big scary people, every single biker in that room is crying. And I think, that is when all of us at the same time kind of felt a connection, not only to the song, but to the performance itself. And that is something I definitely will never forget.
That is amazing. That is amazing. We have got Jaelen Johnston with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. And you can join us each and every week over there at JiggyJaguar.com and, of course, KJagRadio.com. If you miss this interview live or you want to hear it again, whatever, you may check out the video and everything over there at KJagRadio.com. So, how do you connect with audiences who might be hearing your music for the very first time? What is that like for you?
Oof. I'll play a couple heaters in a row, and I'll check and see if they're having a good time. And if I'm not seeing beer flying, I'm not doing my job well enough. So it's time to revisit. I think playing for a completely new crowd that hasn't heard my music before, it's a really cool feeling because you get that full authentic reaction. You know what I mean? It's like trying cheesecake for the first time. You're never gonna see that again. And if you've had cheesecake before, it's kind of the same deal to a degree. But it's when they haven't experienced a live show or they haven't came to see me or haven't watched The Voice at all and getting to sing in front of them and turn them into a fan, I think is one of the proudest feelings that I can have as a performer.
That is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. Jaelen Johnston is with us. He is going to be part of the amazing show this weekend at Gillies. And let's talk about your career vision and your approach and your growth and the whole 9 yards here, because you have accomplished a heck of a lot. The Voice and all these things. What goals are you focused on for this next year? New music, touring, collaborations. What do you got for us, baby?
Definitely, man. Definitely collaborations in the mix. That song I mentioned earlier with Mr. Billy Montana, man. We wrote this absolute heater. It's called Ghosts, and I actually went to Nashville, Tennessee for a week on just this last week I was there. And I finished the vocal recording of that. We're getting a guitar player on it. We're getting all live instruments, full live band on it. So I'm really excited to bring that. That one's probably going to come a little bit closer to March. I have 12 to 14 songs in the tank that it's just a matter of getting recorded. So I think this next year, definitely a lot of music. Definitely a lot of time in Nashville. Definitely a lot of collaborations, and I couldn't be more excited for what 2026 is, at least giving me a hint at what it's going to bring. So I'm really excited to figure that out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Jaelen Johnston is with us. He is going to be part of a big show at Gillies this weekend. January 10th, it is going to be quite the show, and looking forward to seeing Jaelen out there. And I will bring my cowboy hat. Yesterday we interviewed Brian out there, the entertainment manager, and of course, my buddy Big Will brought his cowboy hat.
Yep.
Brian, I don't think his hat ever leaves his head since he started working at Gillies.
I love it.
But of course, Jigman Fraud did not bring his cowboy hat.
I'll tell you what,
So
man, if you're
I
going
will
to a
have
bar scene
mine.
after Urban Cowboy hat's kind of a requirement, you know.
You gotta have the cowboy hat if
Exactly.
you're gonna be in a cowboy type venue.
Precisely.
So I will have that Saturday when we talk to Jaelen for the TV side. However, today on the radio show, we are having a blast with Jaelen. He's going to be part of this big show, January 10th, Gillies at Park City. That venue is so, you can see that thing from space. Driving in driving into to Park City, I'm like, where is this thing? I'm like, oh, it's the big giant building. It says Gillies over there.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
like 60
I'll tell you
miles
what,
away that I can see from the street.
you can't leave it. Really. All the lights, man. That venue pulling in there was insane. I mean, they got that.
It is quite the deal. I will have to say that is definitely a deal. So with your career vision and your growth and everything, how do you see your sound evolving? And are there any genres or styles you're interested in exploring this year?
Definitely, man. I feel like there's not the fact of the matter is there's not a day that goes by that I don't play guitar and sing. And I think, with constant practice, I'm hoping the sound evolves more. I'm constantly working to do different things with my voice. I think this year I definitely want to work on runs a little bit, because there's few people in the country scene that really hit those intricate, insane vocal runs, and I point blank I want to be one of them. So I think putting a lot of work into that side for sure. I wouldn't mind exploring a little bit of bluegrass. I actually just heard this band the other day, the Creekers, and they have the song
Creepers, baby.
No,
I've
the
never
Creekers,
heard
man,
of them.
and they got
Educate
a
me,
song.
please.
It's called Tennessee, and they hit those bluegrass vocal runs, and they're sitting there picking on guitars, and it might be one of the coolest things I've ever heard. So definitely try to do that a little bit.
That is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He, of course, joins us live here on our big program, and this is going to be pretty amazing. Jaelen Johnston is going to be at Gillies, and we are looking forward to doing our. You're going to be our very first interview at Gillies.
I love it.
So it will be quite it'll be quite the deal. A heck of a deal, as I have said in the past. So for all the young artists that are watching your journey, just from starting out in the middle of Kansas, doing the voice, playing all over the damn place, going to Nashville and songwriting, and just being busier than a fruit merchant, essentially. What advice would you give about staying true to your craft, Jaelen?
Man, I think the biggest, and it sounds cliche, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't be said if it wasn't true. Definitely don't ever give up. And I know that's easy to say, but at the end of the day, as a musician, you are going to hear the word no a lot. You are going to feel like you're not where you're going to be, and that comes with the territory. I wake up some days and I'm like, man, like I'm fucking nowhere near where I want to be, and then I sit there and I think about it and I'm like, okay, well, this comes with the territory. Maybe it's time to work harder. And I think, if you can outwork yourself and you can impress yourself, you've impressed somebody along the way. And that somebody is somebody that you may need. And another big thing, man, and it sounds bad, but stagnancy will kill you. If you're content with where you're at and you're sitting where you're at and you have no drive for any kind of growth, you're not going to go anywhere. And I think being a young artist starting out, a place like Kansas where there's really not a whole bunch of music outlets.
Yeah.
The continuing to push yourself and continuing to grow as an artist and evolve at your craft as much as you can, and then really just pushing that everywhere. I think that's the biggest thing. TikTok helps, and everybody says that social media is a big thing, but that only helps so much. I think a lot of it's internal, and if you can win that war with yourself, that the voices in your head telling you that you're not good enough, you got to make.
That's amazing. Well, it is a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. And Jaelen Johnston is going to be part of this big show at Gillies this weekend, January 10th. It's going to be quite the deal. Jaelen, this has been an incredible conversation, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending some time with us today, from your Kansas roots to the national stage and the heartfelt music you're creating. Thank you for sharing your story with everybody and your craft with us today, because it's been fun. We're looking forward to what's next, and in fact, that is Saturday,
Definitely.
January 10th at Gillies. We're also looking forward to the new songs, the shows, the moments that you have yet to even think about writing, my friend.
Yep.
And to everyone listening to us on iHeartRadio, and of course Spotify, BitChute, Rumble, Clout Hub, all the various places. You get Tube. I think we're even over there. So the Russians are paying attention to us now. Be sure to check out Jalen's music. Follow him on the old social media. This is one artist that is definitely crafting his own path and staying true to his voice. I really appreciate it, Jaelen. You're amazing, and I look forward to chatting with you on Saturday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it. And if you want to get more information on what we are up to, go over to kjagradio.com. Also, if you missed this interview, or you want to hear it again, or you want to hear it in full, you can go over there, kjagradio.com. And this weekend, Gillies, January 10th. This is such an affordable ticket to see an amazing talent. Jaelen, we will see you this weekend, and for everybody paying attention to us today, thank you for paying attention to us as long as you did. And if you enjoyed the show, give us a like and follow and all that various stuff. If you didn't, thanks for paying attention to us this long, and we will see you this weekend. And piece of chicken grease, everybody.